Good morning. We're back.
We are. I almost forgot how to do this. It's been so long.
Oh, jeez, yeah, 2 weeks could just wipe it out.
I was sitting there, you heard me chatting with Sandy in the background, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, oh crap, I never sent her the invite to get her in. I'm like, I forgot how to do this. So we're back. Good morning, everybody. We even had one of our friends already waiting for us at like 5:45 this morning.
Oh
So
my gosh.
I was still sleeping. I was not up.
Oh, I was up, but I wasn't obviously anywhere near a computer.
No. So we're glad to be back, guys. Sorry about that. We were only supposed to be gone 1 week, and then crap happened and gone longer than we thought. But it is December 1st.
Where has this year gone? I just don't understand.
Right.
I think that's one of the few things my mother-in-law ever told me that actually came true. The older you get, faster time goes.
I believe it.
I do too.
Honestly.
Because when you're younger, you can't wait to be 16 or 18 or 21. And then it's like, and after that, buddy, it's gone.
It's like, just look at us now. We wanted to be adults then, and look at us
and
now.
now we don't. So it's okay.
You know what, Adam? You didn't miss the last one. Well, unless that last one was 2 weeks ago, because
right.
We were.
Oh, I'm glad you're back too, Adam.
Yes. So you may not have missed much. Thank you.
That's right.
I'm like, I think I honestly hadn't worn this one yet. Jack Skellington and Oogie Boogie, where it looks like, he's Pac-Man chasing the ghosts.
Oh, okay. Yeah. See, I wouldn't even know who those people are, or things, or whatever they are.
Oh, stab me in the heart there, Marianne. We're gonna have to have
you don't know.
Let's see. Yeah, so many of our friends. You sometimes don't realize how many friends we have until you have to go through and like, oh, but wait, there's more.
There is. And while you're checking those, the Law of Abundance is this Saturday, the 4th, and it is at 2:43 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So it's a little hard one at 2:45 in the morning, but set the clock, go to bed right after midnight. Don't tell me everybody can't use extra money in December. Do it.
Hey.
And I have a surprise coming this month. If people look on Facebook, it starts about a week before the new moon. When is the full moon? What time is it? They're all posted on my website, but I guess it's easier to ask that question on Facebook instead of looking it up. And so Ted and I, with a suggestion from our older daughter, we made a checkbook for the Law of Abundance.
Well, hey.
And it looks like a checkbook, and it says Law of Abundance. And inside are all the dates for 2022 with all the checks on yellow paper inside. There's enough for 2 people to do. I think there's like 30 or 40 checks inside. So it's good for the whole year. And if people have that, maybe they won't have to ask so much. But it'll be ready. Actually, I'll have it ready by when I come to the Goddess Elite on the 12th.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So they can order it from your website, right?
It'll be on the website as soon as we should have the product in about 6 to 7 days. So the webmaster will stick it up on the computer pretty fast, and we'll bring it to your store when we do that meet and greet on the 12th.
Sounds good. And again, guys, the meet and greet, it's not a class. You don't have to pay unless you're wanting to buy something. So it's free to attend.
Bring pictures, bring questions. Let me see what you've got going on.
Okay, so Summer has a question. It says, Marianne, please help. There's a dark presence in my home. I can feel it affecting mine and my fiance's relationship, and my 1-year-old is terrified of the kitchen leading to the basement. My dogs growl in the middle of the night. Our lights are burning out. I'm drained. I'm getting woken up in the middle of the night. I've called you. I know you're busy. I don't know what to do. I'm lost.
Summer, I got all 16 of your messages. They're all saved on my phone. And as if you listen to the message, I will get to you as fast as I can. There are things you can do before I call you. Start smudging the house. Get a priest or a minister in there and have the house blessed. You are one of hundreds of calls that I have gotten, and calling more than once or twice isn't going to make a difference. So I will get to you as soon as I can.
In the
And
meantime,
just for your information, people with children go to the top of the list. So
Mhm.
you are at the top of the list, but it's not going to be this week or next week.
So probably just sage really well in the
Sage
meantime, right?
really, really well. I know you're afraid to go in the house. Just, sage. I know your mother, or I guess you say I know your mother. Have your mothers go over to the house and sage for you. Have her keep the baby while you sage. Have your fiance sage with you. Just get it saged. At least it'll be quiet for about 10 or 12 days.
And our friend Sydney says, I've always wondered if earthbounds can see or even talk to the spirits from the light. Why can't they go with them into the light?
What I have found out is if the earthbound spirit had any kind of metaphysical ability, they can usually see people from the light. And that is actually how I get some of the information that I can give the homeowner from what the earthbound spirit has told me from ones that have crossed over. I obviously can't see them, but I have been able to get information. But not every earthbound spirit can see or talk to somebody that's crossed over, just like any live person. There's only so many people that can do that.
Let's see. And since they're already crossed over, there's not a light for them to walk into. So,
Nope.
oh, well, happy anniversary, Renee.
Oh, very nice.
So when is our next Zoom? That would be on the 17th. It is full already, unfortunately. So Marianne, you and I are going to be discussing some dates later today for January. We'll probably go back to 2.
Yeah, now that the holidays will be over, we'll go back to 2 of them.
So in the last 2 weeks, Marianne, what have you been up to?
Well, we had Thanksgiving in there. So it was cooking and family, which was nice. I just think it's really odd that you're sitting in a crowd with, I don't know, 8, 12, 14 people. And it's so odd to be doing this after not being able to do it for the last couple of years. And you just look around, and luckily everybody that's normally at that table was there. So we didn't lose anybody during this, but it's still, it's still scary. And, just been calling people. I've done a couple houses. I have asked that people have to have their shots before I come out because I'm a nervous Nelly about that. And I don't want COVID again, even though I've had the shots and the booster. So so been doing that. But other than that, I haven't been doing much of anything else. I got a Christmas tree up.
I know, I've been thinking that I was going to get, I need a new tree, especially for the apartment. I'm like, do I really want to buy one or just leave it go?
Well, I just got a tree that is already fully decorated, ribbons, bows, lights, and it comes with a stick that you put up the middle of it and it pops up. And when you're done, you take the stick down, it folds down, it goes back in a box. So it's not really like decorating anything. It's popping it up and plugging it in. That's
I
can give you the name of the company. They can get it to you in 24 hours.
I like that even more.
Yes.
So for all of our new friends that might be joining us, Marianne, you were the inspiration and the consultant to the TV show, The Ghost Whisperer. And we are answering, well, more you, answering questions live about earthbound spirits, negative energy, portals, some fairy folk. So feel free to type in questions in the comments here, and we'll get to as many as we can and answer them live for you. But we do this every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Well, we're back to doing it every Wednesday at 10 a.m. We had to take a short break.
Right.
But let's see. Well, and we're going to cover some law of abundance. So Liz says, so this is evidently a stupid question. There's nothing stupid there. But should you do the law of abundance every full moon? Keep all of them? Thanks. And it should be every new moon, not full moon.
New moon, not full moon. New moon. The dark moon. That's the one that, and yes, you should do it every month. And yes, you do need to save them. Like I said, over the years, I've done this for 40 years. I've got shoe boxes between Ted and I full of these checks. So yes, you have to keep them. I don't know why. All I know is that that's what they say you should do. So fine, do it.
And Sharon asks or says, I have a friend that asked me if spirits can use a phone to text.
I would think not, because if they mess with the computer will die, the printer won't work, and a cell phone, which is what I think you have to text on, correct? Am I right on that at least? Okay. I don't think, I mean, when you're using it and they're standing close to you, it's really garbled. So I don't think they could do that. Now, there have been ghosts that have used typewriters years over the years. I've seen that happen. And maybe they can make a person who is using a computer type certain things out if they can really, like that. But I don't really think they can do that.
Let's see. And Melanie asks, can a spirit who crossed recently be present at holiday get-togethers with us on Earth?
They do not miss one holiday, one grandkids soccer game, the piano recital, the kids' first tap dance recital. Grandparents, relatives, friends that have crossed over are there for all of that stuff, including birthdays, anniversaries. So yes, absolutely. And a day you're really thinking about them. That's usually a day they're visiting. Or look for them on the holidays, and or look for them on your birthday, on their birthday. So yeah, they visit all the time. And when you get pictures of orbs, perfectly round circles, any color, sparkly, as long as there's a design in the middle, that is somebody that has crossed over. If the orb is blank, it's a dust particle. It's nothing. So yes, they come all the time. They are always around with you.
So how do you know when an earthbound is lying to you?
And I think there are some things you just learn, and you remember. I remember when I was a teenager what I could get away with and what I couldn't. And it's a learned thing. I remember my one oldest daughter saying to me one time, I don't know how you figured that out. And my answer was, because I tried it when I was your age. Pretty easy. So, but yeah, now that I'm older, I can tell pretty easily. But not when I was younger, it was really hard to tell.
So Renee says, I'm interested in a dream pillow. Also, do you sell individual quinseeds? I'm not in a rush. Can this be shipped? How do I pursue?
No, there are no individual quinseeds. Unfortunately, I do not have a total unlimited supply of these. That's why they are in the dream bags or they are in the charms. So, and if you go to my website, MarianneWinkowski.com, and go to the store, everything is right there that you need.
Let's see. J-Mom says, hi, ladies. My niece did a Zoom with you and she had a young girl ghost. She smudged and went back on Zoom. You said the ghost was very lethargic, but said it was a guy. Would this be a new ghost?
Yes, because they can come in and out. I mean, I can talk to somebody and a half hour later, a new ghost could walk in. Just because I talk to you doesn't mean something isn't going to come in. And yeah, that's probably exactly what happened. That's why I tell people just don't, smudge one time. Keep it up. When that one was lethargic, maybe this one walked in and thought, oh, I can get this energy. That one's not doing it. So, yes, absolutely.
Oh, any more plans for books?
I've got them ready as long as some editor wants them. Whenever it happens, you guys will be the first to know.
Mary says, good morning, ladies. Marianne, what has your experience been with earthbound spirits who were disabled in life, physically or mentally? Do they still have that disability in spirit? For example, if they're blind, are they still blind in spirit?
Okay, if they were mentally ill, blind, yes, they still have that while they are earthbound. Now, let me clarify that though. If they lost a limb, if they were born with all their limbs and say lost a leg because of diabetes, that will be there if they're earthbound. But once they go into the light, all of that is taken care of. They don't have any mental illnesses. They're not blind. They can hear. They are perfectly, perfectly perfect. There's nothing wrong with them. So, yes, absolutely.
So Renee wants to know if we're going to take a break around Christmas and New Year's.
Not planning on it.
No.
No.
In all honesty, guys, the break was for me. I had to have some medical stuff done, and so that happened on that first Wednesday we were out, and then some follow-up that they could squeeze me in happened to be the next Wednesday, pretty much at the same time. So that was unexpected. That was all me, and that wasn't planned. So,
And if I could touch a computer, we could have done this while Melissa was at her doctor's appointments. But as you know, I don't touch a computer.
So as of right now, no planned, no nothing.
No, as long as everybody's healthy and well, we will be here.
City asks, speaking of Ghost Whisperer, did the actual actors who worked in the show believe in Earthbounds or had experienced anything personally? Anyone share an interesting experience, perhaps?
The first time I met Jennifer Love Hewitt, went to her house because she did have a stalker. She had a ghost stalker that was stalking her when he was alive. And he got hit by a car. And how easy was it for him to watch everything now? And I really didn't know what to say because you think I don't really want to scare somebody because I don't believe in that. And so I'm sitting there, and actually James Van Praagh was with us. And we're sitting in her house, and she just had on a sweatshirt. She had her hair in a ponytail. She just looked like a regular, normal person. I mean, she's so darn cute. And she's sitting there, and when she just has a habit of when she talks, she had to wiggle her ponytail. So while she's talking, her ponytail is wiggling back and forth. She goes, I just know somebody's in this house watching me. She says, when I'm in my hot tub, she says, and I go in my hot tub naked, going, oh, no.
TMI.
It's like, oh, no. And she said, I just know somebody's watching me. And she excused herself and went to the bathroom. And James looked at me and he says, I said, she's right. Eddie is watching her in the hot tub. And I says, I don't know. Should I tell her? And he said, well, yeah, I think you better. I said, oh, yeah. And I did. She took it really, really well. And I gave her the name, and she just sort of looked at me and she said, huh. The next day, I was at the studio for the first time meeting all the writers. And I'm in the room. There's like, I don't know, 10, 12 of us. And she comes in because she wanted to meet with all the writers too. So she came in. And she came over and hugged me. She said how nice the house felt. And all the, why, what happened? What happened? That's what all the writers, and she goes, well, and she came in, she stood behind me. And she put her hand on my shoulder and she said, I've always thought I had been watched. She said, well, this is what I found out. Marianne told me who it was. He was 3 years ahead of her in high school.
Oh, wow.
And so he knew her from high school. Yes, he had gotten hit on a bicycle and died. And I tell people, please don't contact the families. They think their loved one is dead and in heaven. Why make them suffer or feel bad? But she didn't listen. And she got hold of the relatives. And I guess she felt she could because they all went to the same high school together. Make a long story short, her mother said when they went to his apartment to clean it out after he got killed, there were thousands of pictures on all the walls in his apartment of her. So, yeah, the studio was full. A lot of the writers had stuff attached to them. The producer had somebody attached to him. The grip boy had somebody attached to him. Makeup lady had somebody attached to her. Look at the energy on a studio. Look at the energy on people that work on movies. I mean, they're usually type A personalities anyway. So yeah, it was a hot mess. It really was. There was a lot of stuff going on there.
There's so many stories you could put in a book if you got permission to tell these stories from the.
That one is in a book.
Well, but I mean, all of them. The grip, the makeup lady, the.
Yeah. The funny thing is this: after 5 years, I don't know if Love thought it was by osmosis or what, but she started clearing houses for some of the people that worked at the studio. Hey, it's California. What can I say?
She really bought into that character, right?
She played her to the hilt. Of course, she had to ask me to send her seeds, but that's okay.
Okay. Well, moving on to Adam. Adam says, I had an earthbound spirit encounter at one of the hotels I sit in at Florida. I woke up from having loud and vivid dreams and was confused because I had put sea salt across the outside door. Then I realized there was one of those doors that go to the adjoining room, and I had missed it.
Adam, you have to look all the way around you, and don't forget, if you're in a hotel, motel with a balcony and a slider by it, that one gets salt too.
So many. They're sneaky. I'm telling you, sneaky.
Yes, they are.
Yes, guys, everything's okay. I'm fine. It's all good. Just have a fun little added fashion accessory for a little while. So what is the best way to know if you have an attachment?
If you're tired all the time, unexplained headaches, lower intestinal problems, keep changing your mind about doing things. I should do it. I will do it. Oh, I don't feel like doing it. Anything like that. Catching somebody out of the corner of your eye. A really big thing is that a lot of times when earthbound ghosts are attached to people or right in their space, and do not confuse that with being possessed, two totally different things. But because of that, it's like if you meet somebody, you're at a restaurant with a friend, you're having a nice meal, and another friend walks up and she's got somebody with her, and she says, hi, Marianne, I want you to meet Betty. And because what I can do, I can look at Betty and I can see there's a ghost attached to her. But if I couldn't see that ghost attached to her, would I like her personality? Maybe not, but is it her personality I don't like, or the ghost's? And this is what you have to think when you meet somebody for the first time. So they could also, when they're attached to you, they almost like you to be just their friend, just with them. They really put off other people who want to be close to you. So take all that into consideration.
Lewis, we missed you too.
He's back.
Yeah, and I hope did you finish your project that you were working on? It's been a minute. And the Brooks asked, was Light able to make the tea or make the light while sipping tea?
No, but the one good thing is that she did smudge. And at least I had convinced her not to let anybody put the quince seeds up until they called so I could make sure that she did what she said she was going to do. Half the time, yeah, half the time, not so much. But she flittered off and would do something else then. Oh, Marianne, when you come to California, will you come over? Sure. So.
Oh, Lewis, he's building his portfolio. It's so fun. So how big of a portfolio do you need to build for fashion? Yes, Love is a Person. Jennifer Love Hewlett, who played Marianne's character or persona in the TV show The Ghost Whisperer.
Right.
So
right now she is on 9/11. She takes emergency calls on that show. She's still on maternity leave though, so they've got her doing something weird on the show she hasn't been on yet because of the new baby, because she just had a little boy. So she's got 3 children now.
Oh.
And the funny part is that the last one is named Aiden, which was the name of the little boy in Ghost Whisperer. So I guess she must have liked that name. I like it too, but I mean, I was surprised.
Well, hello, Lenore, or Lornell, because I'm reading ahead while talking. And our friend Mary. Mary used to live here and moved down south. So Alexander says, Marianne, could you tell us more about meeting James Van Praagh, and did you two collaborate?
James ended up with one of my books, one of the first books that I published. And he had his TV show then, and he called me and he said that he found it very hard to believe that anybody could do what I say I did. And I just thought that was really strange, saying that he talks to dead people too. But then we figured it out that he talks to spirits that have crossed over, and I talk to ones that have not. So he invited me out to be on his show. And we did a house in Oklahoma. He brought me out to Oklahoma and we did a house out there. And gee, what a surprise. It was for Halloween. And so, yeah, I've known James, well. We have seen each other, have stayed at his house. He stayed with us. So yeah, James has been in Ohio a lot. James really, I think a lot of Ohio people know him from New York, from Lilydale, because I know he's Lilydale and he does a couple other big programs in New York. Of course, he hasn't for the last couple of years, but yeah, he's still doing his thing.
I was gonna say, yeah, Lilydale's had a pretty low key regimen in workshops and stuff because of COVID, but I think they're getting ready to ramp it back up.
African one doesn't have. And I mentioned New York, I got a call. It was brought to my attention that there is a psychic by the name of Sophia out of New York that has taken thousands, I'm talking thousands of dollars from a person that wanted to get rid of a curse, and they sent her money and she had all the information and she ended up stealing thousands of dollars from them. Credit cards, savings account, bank accounts, what have you. Just be very, very careful who you go to. And this is apparently a pretty active group in New York. So just be aware. If you want a reading, you want to get something done like that, go to somebody that is recommended by somebody you trust. Just don't find them on Facebook or Instagram or, any of that stuff. Go to a reputable a good friend and get a name of somebody that they trust.
Mhm. Let's see. Capri says, "Good morning. I was wondering if mediums, I think it should say attract more than normal amount of souls on both sides, 10 to 40. Sometimes it's like a party. I lost my quince, but if they could pick it up, it was on my neck." So I think we have a few different little questions going on here. It's kind of choppy. So, Marianne, I know you have a good friend or two that does some mediumship work. Do you find that they tend to have more spirits around them because they're a medium versus your average person?
No, I don't. And in my opinion, the psychics could either see one or the other. I don't know any psychic that can see ones that have crossed over and earthbounds. I'm not saying they don't exist. I'm just saying I've never seen it. And I think that you have a bigger chance of having a client come in and do a reading and leaving their ghost with you instead of taking it with you. And an earthbound spirit cannot pick up a quince seed. It is no, absolutely impossible. Maybe your guardian angel found your quince seed and put it back on. Maybe a spirit guide did, but it was not an earthbound spirit. Absolutely not.
The meet and greet is 1 to 4. All right. And our friend Sink says, "Hi, ladies. I'm having outpatient surgery on Friday near my heart. Where would you suggest I tape the quincy during surgery?"
Your big toe. They make you wear those stupid socks anyway with the grippers at the bottom. You know what I'm talking about.
I left mine there.
Yeah, whoever takes them home, I don't. And and they close the drape. You can put the seat on your toe before you leave the house. They'll never know it's there. So that's definitely, you want to wear that when you have that surgery. Absolutely.
Um, so Karen says, "If my older kids are in my house and start arguing, I tell them to take it outside. Don't need a portal coming out. Smudging every day besides fatiguing spirits is a great way for health and well-being." I always think back to like back in the days where the teenage boys would, step up to dad, and the dad's always like, "Let's take it outside." This is so classic that, and it's actually really smart.
Very good, because at least no portals are coming. But Karen, seriously, stop smudging every day. That is way overkill. You don't need to do that. And let's face it, you know what the yellow the cigarettes does to your walls if you're a smoker? That's a lot of smoke.
Yeah, at least the sage doesn't have the nicotine,
That's right.
in
And
it.
it doesn't stick like that, but still.
Mhm. I can't even think of like a good comparison, but you're really just wasting your time and money at that point, burning that much sage because you don't need to. Um, let's see. Well, I meant to click on Christine. They're jumping. How can a psychic medium tell if they are seeing earthbound spirits or ones that have crossed over?
That's something that you would have to determine. I mean, if you can talk to the spirits, ask them, have you gone into the white light yet? Or are you from the white light? Those are the only two questions you need to ask, and that should give you your answer.
Um, So Melody's question now says, "Would you know any trusted spiritual teachers that offer online courses of how to do exorcisms? I'm in Missouri, and spiritual teachers are very scarce." Now, I know, Marianne, you've mentioned before that you sometimes go out to one of the local universities and speak at one of their religious classes that kind of touch on this. Do you know of any of these universities that offer certain like online versions of that?
Every college order has classes on, believe it or not, it's under religion. And a lot of the professors teach alternative methods in religion. And this is the category that a couple of the colleges have stuck me in to do, for their classes. And I don't know. I mean, I can teach somebody how to take a curse off. I mean, that's in the book. I cannot teach somebody how to remove a possession because that could be very dangerous. And so I do not know any. I mean, Melissa, do you have anybody in the store that even knows how to remove a possession?
Um, he's not in the store per se all the time, but my shaman teacher, um, can. He's actually in Ohio and he's actually moving up a little closer to Cleveland into the Akron area here soon. But he doesn't teach it. He doesn't because again, that's not something you're going to want to learn online, in my opinion, anyway.
I don't think so.
There's a lot of spiritual work, in my opinion, that need to learn in person. You need to feel it, you need to see it, experience it, know the difference. And sitting there reading text or just talking, it just doesn't quite do it.
Well, and a good example is when I used to teach the curse removal workshop. I went out and bought tons of items that had curses on them. I can talk and tell you, oh yeah, the candy dish you bought at the secondhand store has a curse on it. What good is that? I bought this stuff so you could come up and feel it. You knew what it felt like. Then you took it off after I told you how, and then you felt it again, and it was fine. How do you can't do that. With the possession, you have to be right there and see how it's done.
And let's be honest and real. Anything that is something heavy like a possession, I'm sorry if I thought like my family member or best friend was possessed. I'm not going to go get some layperson who just learned it online. That's a big, heavy, dangerous thing, and an online minister or somebody who learned it through an online workshop is not who I'm going to be calling to handle something like that.
Right. And when I keep referring to ordained priests or ministers, and apparently it doesn't happen now anymore like it used to, but there were thousands of people that you could get a credential, which I happen to have, as a matter of fact, that says I could marry, bury, and baptize people in the state of Ohio. Cost me $35.
Me too.
Universal Church or something like that. I mean,
one of those online ones that you submit your name.
And you want to know who told me to get that? My accountant.
Was it me? Because I know I've told some people for legal purposes to protect you in consultations.
Right. Now, my accountant told me to do it. Yeah, because this is so long ago that I didn't even charge for this. It was anything somebody wanted to give me, and I still claimed it. And she goes, "Oh no, you got to be a reverend to get away with this." It's like, get away with it? Mm-hmm. And she was fine after she had a ghost in her house, but that's beside the point. So yeah, and that's why I say an ordained priest or minister.
Well, and that's so like a few of actually, I think most of the readers in my store are all ordained. Some of them are through Lily Dale, some are through a few other churches, but I think the shortest one that any of them went through was like a year and a half. And it's like the one gentleman, he was driving to Lilydale 2 and 3 times a month to go keep doing these classes and doing, to earn that ordained title and to do the work. And he had to do, in front of the congregation, so it's a lot of
work. It really is. And you have to understand each step before you go to the next one. Otherwise, you'll be totally lost. You'll put yourself in danger and whoever you're working on in danger. So you really have to know what you're doing.
Right. And I think that's one reason, like, why my teacher, like, that's not something that he's just like, come sign up for this class. It's, if it ever comes up in any of like the healing work, there's been a few times in class where working on one of the students, he's like, oh, look what I found, guys, come here, and address it that way.
And see, and that's what ended up happening with me. I did do a couple possessions that were just regular earthbound spirits that had gotten in, but there were a couple that actually were brought in on purpose because of Satanism or devil worship, which I did not know. People that are in cults like that don't exactly have tattoos on their forehead that say, I'm in league with the devil. But then they want out. And I don't have it anymore because I've had a surgery and it's been removed. But I was in about 30 years old when I did one of these. And I ended up on my stomach, right above my belly button, an upside down cross that was carved into my skin. That was really nice explaining that to my GYNOB the first time I went in for.
So what happened there?
I jumped over a fence that had barbed wire. Yeah. I came up with all kinds of stuff.
Oh, see
now, me jumping over a fence. Never happened.
See, now we need the graphic novel Adventures of Mary Ann comic book series, and young Mary Ann jumping over fences, carrying bottles of.
Yeah.
I vote yes.
No.
We're gonna need a comic book artist. We're gonna need. Let's see. Here we go. So here's a good example. Goth inner Obi-Wan. That is so fun. Personally, a ghost puts off insane amount of energy, but I have never encountered a spirit guide in such a way, like actually seeing one. So, I mean, they
You're
do.
probably right. That could be. Absolutely.
And everybody's different on how you perceive things. So,
right. And somebody from the light is going to be sweet and nice and not cause any problems where an earthbound spirit does.
Mm-hmm. Oh, see, Melanie says she would buy your graphic novels.
Oh boy. You know what? Something to do when I retire.
See, we've got help here.
Oh, there you go. Thanks so much, Helen. I really appreciate that.
It's going to be a thing. You watch. All right, Pam. So we don't mean to scare you. I think possession is a very, 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 very far few in between.
Truly, it is not common at all. I mean, if I actually saw 3 a year, and in the last 2 years with COVID, maybe 1 that was actually, no, 2 that were actually possessed. And so it's not common at all. And maybe it's more common because, or maybe it is common and people just go to their priest or a religious person without calling me, which is just fine. There may be more out there, but not that I'm aware of.
I get a handful of people throughout the year that come in and they're like, oh, so-and-so, like my son's possessed, my mom, this and that. And just sitting there, like looking at them and feeling them. And I'm like, it's not a possession. We have some mental illness. We have, maybe something that's attached that's trying to cause things, which in some of the hoodoo root working, those are called root cause spirits. They're causing a change of behavior. It is so more likely mental illness that's either not treated properly or undiagnosed or some other reason. It's not.
Uh-oh. You froze up for a minute there. Yeah.
I know. I heard. I'm like, no.
Yeah. No.
Guess what? Mercury's not retrograde. So
thank you for sharing that with me. Actually, all the possessions except 1 was people over the age of 21. So I think that is as rare as hen's teeth to find it in a child. Seriously, I would definitely go on the track of mental illness before possession.
Mm-hmm. What I found in healing work, when you have mental illness, it tends to attract a lot of unpleasant, entities that aren't demons.
Look at the stress that the family is under or the person that is mentally ill is under. That's a high energy. And yes, you are going to have a lot of earthbound spirits that be attracted to that. Mm-hmm. And they can just make it all the worse, which makes you stress out even more and put out more energy. So yeah, it's it's like negative energy attracts negative energy, positive energy attracts positive energy. And unfortunately, when somebody has a form of a mental illness, that's not positive energy. That's negative energy, and it has to be taken care of.
Yeah. And that's the thing. And I think if you go back and listen to some of our early videos, you've heard me get on my soapbox and say, just because it's like a heaviness, like they feel heavier, right? So some people will perceive that heaviness is like they feel bad, they feel negative, they feel this, they feel that. And I'm like, quit judging them and take a minute to find out why they feel that way. Cause I can guarantee you they don't want to and they don't mean to, and they may not even know it. Maybe they just
This is
lost,
the way life is supposed to be, right? Exactly.
so
Right.
keep your judgments to yourself because you're throwing extra heaviness at them.
Yeah, you're making it worse. You're not helping.
Mhm.
It's like that one commercial on TV that somebody's got mental illness and they say, "Oh, just go out and buy something, buy a new dress, you'll feel better."
Oh yeah, go for a walk. Go
Yeah,
to,
it's like, really? No, delve into it.
I mean, yes, sometimes those things can help, but those are short term.
I was going to
That's
say it'll help while you're walking, but not
right.
when you get home. Yeah, right.
Not the shopping addiction. Like
No, no,
stop.
no. And then you're stressed out when the credit card comes in next month, so it's not worth it.
Or your spouse is like, why were you shopping again?
That's right.
You
That's
know?
exactly right.
So let's see. It says, can spirits travel to other planes outside of 3D?
I don't think so. I think if you die on this plane, you're on this plane. I don't think you could, not like the wee folk that can jump in and out of different planes. Um, but I don't believe the earthbound ones can jump in and out of planes. So no, I don't think so.
Until what they like cross over and
Correct.
stuff. Let's see. Which there's that the Pistis Sophia by Melchizedek. That hurts my brain to read, but it's very, very interesting.
Yeah, and it throws and see, I'm sorry, nobody knows the answer to everything. And so, the more reading you do, the more of a slant you, yeah,
This
that's
big
a
hunk of a
rough
thing.
book. Yeah, that's a hard book to read.
Well, he's actually a astrophysicist or physicist or something. So there's like science, and he's explaining the woo woo in with science. So,
Which is okay some of the times, but some of the times it's just faith. You got to go with it.
And then he's got the Keys of Enoch. I don't even know where my copy is of that. That one hurts my head too.
Yeah.
Because I'm a visual person, so when he's giving all these, I'm like, what did you just say? Show me a picture. There's no pictures.
No.
But that's an interesting read. Brooke says, me imagining ghosts parachuting out of airplanes from different dimensions.
Yeah, luckily they don't have to. They can just walk right out the door at 10,000 feet up.
So Heather says, if spirits don't travel to other planes, where do you think they go when they disappear from our view?
Out the door, next door, to the mall, to the bakery shop, anywhere they want. They can go anywhere they want. Mm-hmm. I mean, seriously, who's going to tell them they can't?
Right. Well, and I'm assuming, and correct me if I'm wrong, since they need our energy to really do things, the more energy they've sucked from you, the more they're able to appear. So if they start using up that battery, then they maybe fade out, but they're still there.
Yes, exactly right. Or it's when you smudge. They're still there. They're just lethargic and they're not taking any of your energy. That's why you feel better. That's why the kids feel better. That's why everybody's better. So definitely, but they can, like I said, they can just, when you smudge, they could just go to, the neighbor's house for a while and get some of their energy.
So I was turning around looking behind me because the next question is, where are the kitties? And I don't know where mine is. He's off doing something, probably sleeping.
Which one is on your lap, Ted? Yeah. One's up here on Ted's lap, and I don't know where the other one is. Must be down the basement. Probably eating. That's Pudgy. He's probably down there eating.
Eating in peace.
Right.
So the Zoom for December is filled right now. If you are signed up for it, let's back up. So if and when you sign up for Zoom on the website, please make sure the email you put in is correct, because as soon as you pay and sign up, you get a confirmation email that you are registered with the Zoom link. Do not delete that email, because that's the link that you're going to click and it opens up Zoom. Zoom itself is free. If you don't already have Zoom installed on your phone, laptop, or device, it'll walk you through it. So literally all you do is click the link, show up on time. There will be, at least for me, down in my Apple products, down in the lower left-hand corner, the camera and the microphone, and that's what you click to either mute and unmute or turn your camera on and off. Marianne does need to see you and be able to talk to you during your time. Everybody who signs up, which we limit it to 25 people, gets to ask their 2 questions. Everybody gets to ask their questions, provided that you're there. Please don't keep messaging me over on the side wanting to know when am I, do I get to ask? Yes, you do. We go in order of newest to oldest, or newest to repeat people, and kind of who comes in. So, but everybody will get to ask your questions. And if you can, change the name on your Zoom to match the name that you signed up with. Otherwise, I'm constantly sending private messages and asking you, what name are you registered with? I don't have a diddly boo, signed up.
Yeah. Who are you?
Right. Let's see. So Karen says, with the law of abundance and writing checks, do you keep intentions in your thoughts in your mind, or is it best to write it on paper, just say it out loud so it's in the universe? Can you write it and forget it, or do you need to kind of keep working on it throughout the
I
month?
think once you write it, I think that's okay. I think if you want a vision board or something like that, that's something totally different. And there are people that add to that, take away from that, look at it every day. And they say that it really helps. But the law of abundance is just once a month, except we do have 2 next year. We do
Mhm.
have a second one. But, and like I said, it's the universe that decides what you're going to get or need.
So sometimes it's something you didn't even realize you were going to get.
That's right.
So J Mom says, I'm curious what would happen to a ghost if they got lethargic from smudging and they didn't leave. They can't die because they're already dead.
Well, if you keep smudging every 12 to 14 days, they'll keep lethargic. Eventually, they'll go, oh no, I can't stay here. I'm not getting any energy, and they will leave on their own. But that's why you have to smudge that often to keep them in that state. Because as soon as by the 12th day, they're already starting to get some of their energy back. And that's why you really have to keep it up. You hear somebody, well, I smudged it so bad it took me 3 hours and I did it. Yeah, how long? 2 months ago. You wasted your time. If you're not going to do it on a timely manner constantly, then don't even bother.
Let's see. So Inner Obi-Wan, that's fun. Still says, Marianne, you have experience with portals. I have a portal that everyone comes through. It's on an inside wall. My intention was to make this portal go up to the 5th, but everyone uses it. The living, the dead, spirit guides, humans, dogs, fairies, everyone. Any idea as to how and why?
I guess I never thought about it. I suppose if a portal is there, anybody that is not living could probably go through it. But the portals that I see are where all the negative earthbound people come from. And I don't know why anybody would want to do that. Now, are you sure that you don't have a white light? that you're watching all these people come in and out of? Because that would make more sense than a portal, because in my world, the portals are dark. So I wouldn't think that was, I would have to look into that. I really don't know.
Yeah, I haven't really looked. I've got some theories popping in, but they're not well thought out yet.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So let's see. Pam says, I don't understand why God would allow people who have completed this incarnation that would be allowed to harass the still incarnated. So why are earthbounds allowed to come back and wreak the havoc?
Why are earthbounds allowed to come back and create the havoc? Because they need the energy. And the only way they can do that is by causing problems wherever they're at. I mean, if they're not doing anything, then the house is going to be quiet and normal. But they start breaking things or aggravating people or making them sick, then that's the energy that they need. And you have to remember, God created us, but we all have free will. You have free will after you're dead, too. That's what makes the choice whether you go to the light or not. So they're going to keep doing what they did when they were alive. If they were a bully when they were alive, they're going to be a bully when they're dead, too.
This could be that fun discussion on there are some of the theories in the metaphysical. Well, we're all a piece and part of God. So God is causing that because that person is God. That incarnation is God. I am you, you are me, we are all God. So there's that fun debate.
I got enough in my plate. I'm not going to that one.
So, I mean, if you want to get on the whole God and the religious aspect side of it, or
I think they're separate, but they all are separate, but they all touch each other. You're not alone. There's always somebody or something by you. And I think that's the same. I mean, give it a title, give it whatever title you want. If you want it to be God, it can be God if that's what your God is. But everybody has their own opinion of what that is. So
remember, that version of God came out of a book that man created long after that God died.
That's right. That's right. Of course, they were just following instructions. Get it straight.
Well, and those instructions have been edited how many times over?
Well, that's it. The original Bible, we wouldn't even know what it looks like. We would look at that and think, what are they talking about? Because every time they rewrote it, they wrote it so they thought the people at that time period would understand it better. They left out a lot of scary things. And you can see that yourself. Just go to one of the big museums in New York and look at the old Bibles. I mean, there's no way that you could even say a sentence the way they wrote it, know what they were talking about.
Right. So,
and if you think about it, the early forms of the Bible, some people have said the angels came down in spaceships.
Right.
So you don't know, do ya?
Angels were aliens. They're aliens.
Everybody's an alien. Are we aliens because we came to this planet? Probably. And I'm saying more than the relatives coming over on the boat from Italy.
Yeah, see, now I'm sitting here, like the amount of books over here, whoops, on the other side of this laptop. I call them the purple books, The Ancient Secret of the Flower of the Life by Melchizedek. Like, that's an interesting perspective on a few things. It's a 2-part book series, and the second one slowed me down in reading because, again, here comes really cool science, but math, and I'm like, show me what you just described to me, so it clicks.
Right. See, you have an inquiring mind. You need to know more than just what is said. You want to know the subtitles too. And a lot of times,
why does it work?
Right. And a lot of times you don't get it. Just like how many of you, if I came to your house or I have come to your house, have you wanted to know, you had a list of 20 questions for me to ask your ghost. But then there's some that they come in, they sit, just get rid of them. I don't want to know nothing. I don't want to try to take a picture. Don't tell me their name. Just get them the heck out of my house. There's people like that too. So there's all kinds of people. It's,
Right. Yeah.
everybody's looking for a different solution to a problem.
Hmm. Yeah. I like knowing the under, how, and why. And for me, I think that helps make me better in the energy healing work that I do.
Right.
So,
So you do it for a reason, but and a lot of people, like I says, a lot of people where I do they just want the information because they're nosy. Well, I would be nosy too if they're in my house. I want to know who's in my house. What have you been watching and what have you been looking at? I want to
yeah,
know.
I would be. And
Yeah.
as we already seen in I'm a little bit of a smart ass. So you want to come up in my house and you won't leave? Well, then fine. I'm going to trap you for an hour. How do you like it? Are you ready to get the hell out now?
And or the ghost that'll wait. It's there when I get there. And they'll go, "Oh my God, you can really see me." They don't believe it.
Right. See, those are
Because
the ones
it
I would feel
didn't
sorry
happen to
for.
them when they were alive.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. I mean, those are the ones that I would feel bad for. The ones like, you can really see me and you can really help me. Like, oh, holy crap.
and most of them are so genuinely happy and so miserable that they didn't go when they had the opportunity. But they thought they were doing the right thing. Thankfully, with people like you and me that have been preaching this for years now, that when you see the white light, geez, just go to it. Just go to it.
Mm-hmm. But even with living people and working with them, to get some of these people to understand, like, they are worthy of forgiveness, they are worthy of forgiving themselves, and that, and just watching them well up. So I'm like, imagine that, like, if that person was an earthbound and being afraid to go into that white light because of this punishment. And I'm like, your son or daughter, they mess up. Are you permanently forever and ever and ever angry at them? No. So, why would you be eternal? Like, I always disagree with the whole hell thing and the severe punishment and this and that. Like, yeah, whatever. No. So go over and get better and, have that powwow. Like,
Right.
I'm sorry, you will not be.
I'm going to throw something out there, and I just thought about it at the last minute here. If anybody has been watching, what's it, La Brea Tar Pits show that's been on? It's the new started this season. I don't know if anybody's watched it. I don't know what 5 or 6 of them have been shown. Well, it's over for the season now, isn't it, Ted? One more, and it's over for the season. I don't want to. For anybody that's seen it, it came up at Thanksgiving with where we were eating with the people we were eating with. Somebody brought that up, and my one brother-in-law said, "I just can't understand that. I just don't understand that at all." And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, that storyline reminds me of reincarnation.
I haven't watched this, and I'm gonna have to go find it.
Just keep reincarnation in your mind especially after, not so much the first one. Well, yeah, even the first one, you could sort of put a title to it. I'm just wondering if that's not what this is about. I wonder if anybody that's watching it has had that same or thought about that.
Well, like Paula says, she loves La Brea. So
I do too, but do you think maybe because of the different time periods that it could be? I'm thinking, and when you reincarnate, there's still part of you that's left behind. And so even though, like, I know my mother is somebody else now, I can still dream of my mother, even though she has reincarnated. So, and that's why I think that could be this is what this is about.
Oh, and see, Paula says she hadn't thought of that. So I might need to go find that. I have been eagerly watching the new season of Dexter because I was a big Dexter fan. And somebody turned me, actually Sandy, Nick, so many people were like, you got to watch You on Netflix. So I've been watching You. And it's weird because everybody's like, how can you like him knowing he's that creepy? And I'm like, it's that snarky little internal monologue that he has that's playing throughout the show. But he's pretty much a stalker and, stalking this girlfriend of his. And in the background, he's doing some very heinous deeds and he can justify it because it's for her benefit and her well-being. Um, but
A
it's
spin artist in my world. He can spin it any way he wants to make it work for him.
yes, yes. Oh, see, Brooke says she read it, but she hasn't watched it. But I haven't finished season 1 yet. So, but I guess like when I was talking with Joan, and Joan's helped at some of our in-person events, we had a guy in the Sunday at the psychic fair that I'm like, holy crap, that looks just like the actor, except he was really tall. And I'm like, hey, have you watched this? I'm like, look. And she goes, you mean Joe? Or what season are you in and what name is he going by? And I'm like, what? There are different names later? Do tell.
See, yeah, that's
So that's what I've been on.
Here's where I'm at. My favorite television show right now is The Masked Singer. So that just is nice and peaceful. I don't have to think about anything. So
well, you were right on that Alien show, which the title's escaping me. That was hilarious. I can't wait for that one.
I know it. What's the Alien show called again, Ted?
It was on Sci-Fi.
What is it? Resident Alien. Yeah,
yes.
Resident. Oh, that is so. I can't wait. February, I think, is coming back. I can't wait for that. Yeah.
Sci-Fi is notorious for canceling really good things.
No, it's coming back.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
And, I use his, that's some bullshit.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, go back and watch the first year. You will split a gut laughing. It is so funny.
Yes. Oh yeah, Brooke piped in just as Ted.
Yes, definitely.
Let's see. So Ryan says, when my older brother passed away last year, I had about 5 dreams of him, good dreams, and he told me he missed me. And is there any way I can contact him again? I haven't dreamt of him in months now.
Yeah, you can still, maybe you're not remembering some of your dreams, and so he's been in them and you haven't remembered them. Look for him on your birthday. Now the holidays are here. Look for him on holidays. They usually always visit at that time. But if you think you're not remembering your dreams, get one of the dream bags. Stick it under your pillow, and in about 3 weeks, you'll start remembering your dreams really, really well.
Let's see. Have you watched Manifest? I haven't.
I have not. The problem is, most of the time at night, I'm on the phone.
Doing all your callbacks.
Yeah, so surprisingly, I really don't want, and the stuff that I like Ted tapes, so I watch it when I can watch it that way. So
yeah, I'm usually watching things a few days late. Because I was also watching What We Do in the Shadows, and I would always have to catch it a few days after, which that is hilarious. Right now it's Dexter. But Inner Obi-Wan says, my portal just opened. It's only 3.2. No wonder everyone uses it. So it's not even quite. So that could be, the issue.
Yeah. And, I thought, now you say something like that, there is, when the little folk jump from level to level, it's not like just walking through nothing. They walk through something to get to the level that they're jumping out of, the dimension they're jumping out of. That could be a portal type thing too. Any kind of an opening that you can go through is a portal. So that could be called that too, I suppose.
Yeah, like if I get some free time, like I want to kind of look into that. Like, as that one was open, did it kind of fracture off depending on how it was created? And so create these little hallways that things are kind of jumping in on. And
it's like when some people get regressed, depending on how good the hypnotist is. The one that I went to, she had me look down a long hallway with 15 different doors and said, open up a door and tell me what you see inside. And that could have been a whole, I mean, each one of those doors had a scene going on behind it. They
Hmm.
had to be created somehow.
Right. Well, see, now I have to wonder if memory, quite different than a portal, maybe like you're walking on your path and those doors are different lifetimes versus a portal that other beings are able to use. So similar yet
They
different.
are, because everyone is at a different time in the world. I mean, some
Mhm.
was in from Roman times, and some were before that, and some were in the 50s, some were in the 60s. So, yeah, it's a different time period behind each door. It's not a continuing from the one you open.
Well, and
Each one is
I
different.
forget what the theory is exactly, but how time is not linear, it's all happening at once, and that's how you're able.
To go exactly, exactly. And that was it. I'd open a door and I'd look inside and I'd see what was going on. It's like, no, that's not what I'm looking for. Close the door, go to the next one
Mhm.
until I found what I was looking for.
Right. Why did I pick this one? This one is I
Yeah, it's
don't
like,
have to talk with my
oh my God, I really did that. Let's close that door. So it's like, I'm glad that's in the past.
as our resident alien, like, this is some bullshit. Why am I here?
Am I even here? Oh my God. Yeah, yeah, it's
Uh, oh, good question. Do your ears ever ring when spirits are around?
no, mine do not ring, but there's two different sounds that I can hear if you've got wee
It's
folk in the house.
we folk
It,
or which one?
it's like a high pitched noise for one of them, and the other one is almost like it's a high pitch too, but it's almost like a Morse code sound, tap 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 tap.
Hmm.
It's a different. And I thought about it the other day. I wish there was some way I could record that, but it's in my mind. I can't. But I wish there was, because my oldest daughter knows Morse code. I wonder if they're saying something.
Hmm.
And I'm not going to learn Morse code. I'm still trying to figure out how to learn charades. So
Right. I mean, but I have constant in both ears, high pitched. And
I don't.
I had multiple sets of tubes in my ears as a kid. And I'm like, why didn't my parents meet Marianne way back when?
That's right, because you would have never needed them.
But there's times where it turns into really loud static, like white noise that'll kick in and then it'll turn off. And I like remember the first time I ever had that happen. I was on a school bus down at Fort Campbell, of all things. And the bus was so noisy and loud, like my ears started just crackling and making that noise. And the school bus driver pulled over and did that whole like, we're not moving until you guys calm down. And it hurt so bad. I wanted to crawl out of the bus. And ever since then, like the ringing has gotten worse and that crackling, but I never had that crackling before then. So I'm like, I attribute mine to hearing damage, the tubes in the ears, listening to heavy metal way too loud as a teenager before spirit and downloads. And at least for me,
Right.
because it never turns off. I can't tell them to stop it. It never stops. It'll get louder, it'll get a little softer. And I think that depends on stress, blood pressure, atmospheric pressure. But as I'm getting older, I notice at times it's louder, and I'm that annoying person now going, one more time, what did you say? Because if you talk in a certain level or tone, I can't hear you.
Ah,
And I'm
okay.
like, it might be time to go get my hearing checked. And do they make hearing aids now to kind of like block that out or dim it out or something?
I don't
But
know.
you know, I wish mine was spirit, so spirit would knock it off when I would ask, like,
Yeah,
down.
because that would make me goofy if I had to listen to that all the time.
It's never quiet. You kind
No,
of learn to
I
not
like
hear it,
quiet.
but it's never quiet. And there's times at night where it's hard to fall asleep because it'll get louder
No.
because there's nothing else to focus on and ignore it. So, and then that's one thing COVID taught me when, people are covered up and I can't see your mouth
You
to kind
can't
of lip
hear them
read.
too, right?
Yeah. And I'm like, well, holy crap, we have a problem here that I've been ignoring or didn't realize I had now, you know.
The mask. I mean, everybody complains, and doesn't like it, but actually, I actually have gotten to the point where I really feel comfortable with the mask on, and it's really nice because you can say something nasty to somebody and they don't know what you're saying.
There's plenty of videos where, people are like, when you forget you don't have a mask now, and they're like,
Oh, I haven't seen those. Oh, that would be me. Or that would be,
or
yeah.
they're doing stupid like,
Stick your tongue out, nobody sees it. I know. The grocery stores before Thanksgiving were horrible.
Okay, so our last question for the day, because we're already like almost 20 after. Renee says, is the high-pitched noise from aliens? What is the Morse code tapping sound from?
Little folk, wee folk. And it's interesting, if you have earthbound spirits in your house, I do not hear the little folk.
Oh.
As soon as the ghosts are gone, that's when I can hear the little folk. And that's what happened to one of the girls 2 weeks ago. Remember the thing that was under her bed kicking her?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I thought it was a ghost because I didn't hear the tapping noise when I talked to her. Well, the house was finally clear. She called back, and that was some kind of a gnome or a troll or something under her bed, kicking the mattress under her king size bed. I mean, where she was jumping up and down on the mattress. Yeah.
What little jerks.
Yeah, they're terrible. They're horrible. So.
See, everybody romanticizes fairies, and
I know, not me. Like I said, I don't go down we don't really eat cereal, so I don't really go down that aisle, and it's a good thing. My one daughter heard me one day talking to somebody on the phone about Lucky Charms and the leprechaun on the box, and she must have been about 9. We're walking down the hall, down the cereal aisle. She was picking out cereal. She says, "Can I get that Lucky Charms and just jump on it?" I went, "No, don't do
it." So, Lori, one of my friends and readers, she's like, "You better apologize. They're gonna mess up your job." She was telling me this yesterday, and I'm like, because I think like her pen or Seven's pen went missing, and I'm like, the damn fairies, they always steal everything. She's like, "Stop it!" I'm like, "They do. I blame them for everything."
No. So come out and see me on the 12th over the Goddess Elite. Mm-hmm. Hopefully, we're not going to have the trouble with the post office this year that we did last year. That would be nice. Mm-hmm. But if you're looking for stocking stuffers or something for Christmas, put an order in early, because I don't know. I can't trust the post office. But come out to the store. Everything will be there if you're looking for something.
Right. So the address for the stores there on the screen. So stop out. You're there 1-4, but you usually end up staying later because you have so many people.
If there's people there, I'll stay. Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. There has been a couple of emails that were sent in asking for books to be shipped overseas. I will definitely get those quotes and the shipping for you. Just give me time. I was a little sidetracked with medical. Feel free to send the email again to remind me. I know there was a request for Hong Kong, and I forget what the other one is, but I've had so many emails come in with the holidays. Like, do me a favor and please just send the address again. But we will get a quote shipping there and let you know, and have Marianne sign it and drop it in the mail, which we can even do that through the States. If you're in Virginia and you want to send a book to Wisconsin, like, just send an email in and we'll take care of it that day. We'll send you the invoice in line. You can pay online. We'll drop it in the mail for you. So we can send autographed books anywhere until we run out of books. So, but yeah, Marianne, Zoom on the 17th is filled.
Okay.
We'll figure out dates here in the next day or so for January.
Yeah, we'll figure them out in the next couple of days.
So yeah, we're going to go back to 2 in January, correct?
Correct.
So,
and we'll probably pull one on a Friday and one on a Monday again. I think the 2 different days works for some folks.
Mm-hmm. So yes, thank you sending me that reminder. That's awesome. But all right, everybody, thank you for joining us. I'm glad we were back. And we don't plan on being gone again.
Nope, we're going to be here. So I hope everybody had a nice Thanksgiving, and we will talk to you next week. And don't forget your law of abundance on Saturday.
Yes, yes. All right, guys. We'll see you later. See you next week.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.